Yo, what's good? What's good? Welcome to part two of my three-part series of scUM Week, Beat That Team Up North Week, whatever you want to call it. We're going to be talking about the rivalry in itself from my perspective, growing up here in Columbus, and how it was, and dealing with scUM fans from your own city and all that crap. But first, please like this video, subscribe to Buckeye Scoop YouTube platform and their podcast platform if you are listening via podcast. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram under Buckeye Sports Talk with B Moses. Twitter is bmoses30, BMOSES30. Make sure you follow me there as well. But yo, listen, man, I was born and raised in Columbus, Ohio. I've been here all my life. All right. I am not a spring chicken. But I'm also not, I wasn't born yesterday either. So without aging myself completely, I'm going to say that I lived through the 90s. Okay, so the 90s is a very clear memory. A lot of good, but also some bad. And that some bad is namely, losing to scUM every other year, like it was just expected. And then, of course, in the 90s, you had the Fab Five was popping, and scUM football and basketball was hot, for the most part. So in Columbus, man, growing up in Columbus, obviously we have mostly Ohio State fans, but it was like a fad. It was like a popular type of fad for some cats to go against the grain and be different, and become a scUM fan, because they basically could strut around in the 90s specifically, knowing that, they owned us in that decade. And it's literally them against droves of Ohio State fans. So I think there was some pleasure. There was some cats got off on that, in the 90s, going against the grain and taunting and trolling the locals. You know what I mean? And it was, like I said, it was sort of a fad for some cats to do that. And it's just like, why are you a scUM fan? I don't know, because I hate Ohio State. Why you hate Ohio State? It'd just be goofy reasons. It'd just be stupid. So with that said, it was very tough because no matter how talented I knew we were, I expected to lose, okay? Because in my opinion, John Cooper, he did not get the rivalry. I know some people like to debate with me about that. You're wrong. He did not get the rivalry. And what I mean by that is compare him and his approach to Tressel or Urban Meyer. Okay. Cooper, he coached tight and his players played tight in that game. He reminded me of Coach Klein from Waterboy, who was scared of Red Bull U. And that's how he coached. And so, he just, again, when with the culture that Tressel brought back to Ohio State was like, okay, this is it. Like, he understands, he gets it. And so, going into that game every year, although on paper we were better, I still was kind of expecting a loss. You know what I mean? So, and here's the other thing in the 90s. And this is why I harp on scUM fans now for running their mouth after only winning one game in 20 years. I'm sorry, in 11 years, but what is it, 3-20? Is that in the 90s, I wasn't popping off at the mouth like that. Now, the only way I would is if somebody just came at me, whatever, then I would respond, but I wasn't talking. I wasn't running my mouth like, because they owned us in the 90s. And I knew we were going to lose more often than not. So I wasn't talking big like, I'm chilling, because it's called humility. It's called understanding who you are and what's going on. scUM fans don't have that filter. They win one time in 10 years and all of a sudden the tables have turned. And, none of the last 10 years happened. You know what I mean? Like, nah, it don't work like that. It does not work like that. So with that said, so approaching the game, after the 90s, even though we've dominated, I've always still had, anxiety and stress because of the 90s PTSD. Even the years we've blown them out, it's just always a nervousness, just naturally because of the rivalry. It's built in because of what I went through in the 90s as a fan. So I'm going to have some anxiety every year for this game. It doesn't matter what it is. I can be confident, the matchup and break down things schematically. I'm still going to have a little bit of nervousness just because. So that's there. And I'm sure plenty of people can relate to that with me. But yeah, it's just funny, man. Like with scum fans, this is what I believe they're doing. Okay, because here I'll kind of tell you where I'm at. On one hand, there's stress because of what's on the line. There's arguably more on the line this game than there was in 2006. Meaning, 2006, we weren't coming off of a loss. We were coming off of 2 straight wins in 04 and 05. This year, we're coming off of a loss. Can't lose back-to-back games. We can't give them momentum to feel like things are turning, because that's just more momentum. It's still a bad record. Still only, 4 times in 20 years. That's not good. But it still gives them momentum. And, of course, we got to hear their mouth again. Ryan Day's legacy and C.J. Stroud's legacy is on the line. Let's just be flat out. It's on the line. They can't lose this game. The Heisman Trophy is on the line. The playoffs, Big Ten title, I can go on and on. So on one hand, the anxiety and nervousness is there because of what's at stake. But on the other hand, I'm confident for reasons I've stated several times to y'all from this last offseason to now, is that last year, flat out, defense was garbage. That was the reason why we lost that game primarily, is bad coaching, bad scheme, lack of adjustments, and the players that have come out in the entire season, when asked, give you a little dab of insight of what they were thinking last year. And I've heard words like we were fuzzy, we weren't sure what we were doing, last year defensively. So the fact that we have Jim Knowles in here, and we've seen the vast improvement by this defense. Is the defense perfect? Is it the 85 Bears? No, it's not. But no defense in this entire country is the 85 Bears. I don't mean like exactly 85 Bears, but there's no defense, in my opinion, in this country, including the team up north, that can't get got. All right. Our defense is vastly improved. I gave the numbers on part 1 from last year to this year. It's dramatic. They're much more well coached. They know what they're doing. The linebackers are way better than last year. Safeties are even better. They were poor overall last year, but Ransom and Hickman, you saw some flashes in them. They're playing great now. D-line is playing better. JT Tuimoloau is showing up. Zach Harrison is showing up after he was written off. But the point is, defensively is what we needed to be able to shore things up for not only this season, but for this game. So I'm confident in that standpoint. And the fact that we have the crib, we ain't been in the shoe to play them in 4 years, y'all. It's been since 2018. Most of these kids on this roster, outside of a 5th or 6th year senior, has never been to the shoe. That matters. Now, you can say what you want to say about our fans against a MAC team at noon, but when it comes to scum, they get up for it. Go look at on YouTube at 2018, that atmosphere and how loud those fans were. We'll get up for the scum game at noon. So they're going to walk into a snake pit. JJ McCarthy has never been in an environment like that. Not this season. He hasn't seen anything like that against an opponent like they're going to see with Ohio State. So I'm super excited, nervous, anxious, but I'm excited because I believe we got what it takes to win this game. I think we are going to win this game. I haven't narrowed down my score yet, but a lot riding on this, y'all. A lot riding on it, and I'm confident Day and these coaches and this team are going to use all the motivation from this offseason, not just from losing, but from the chirping, the popping off at the mouth from scum coaches and their fans and their players and all that. You know what I mean? And smash those false narratives and show them what's up, man, in the shoe on Saturday. So yeah, I'm ready. But anyway, so I'm gonna end it here. Part 3 is coming up. I'm gonna be talking about the matchups, keys to victory, keys to winning the game, and in detail and things like that. So, all right, appreciate y'all once again. Happy Beat Scum Week, and I'll see y'all soon. Peace.